What is going on, everybody? You know what time it is. JT Best Ball. It's time for the nightcap. Let's get right to it.
I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Didn't want to waste any time with the intro tonight. I am in a sprint lobby. I want to start getting some more sprints in, and they're kind of hard to fill. So I actually jumped in it a few minutes before I came live. I'm going to throw it in the good old dog pound drafting. We are waiting on 6 for a sprint. Let's talk. So I have something that I think could be a key to best ball this year. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think a lot of people, are just starting to get too comfortable with, I can do the Jatavion Sanders, you know, Brent Strange, who's another one? Elijah Arroyo. I could just tack on those three at the end and just punt tight end. And which granted, I punt tight end sometimes too. I'm not saying that it's just a completely bad strategy, but I feel like there's a lot of tight ends this year that if we play this right, you can still get some damn good production from your tight end. I'm not going to stop drafting Bowers. I actually want Bowers to be around 20% when it's all said and done. I've talked about him before. I mean, the guy is basically a wide receiver that we can play in the flex. And yes, they got Genty. That helps the passing game a little bit. They can't just totally key on the run game. But the Raiders have not that great of an offensive line. I have them somewhere around the 18th, 20th best offensive line, something like that. They have a bottom 12 defense in the league. They play in a tough division, right? They play against the Chargers. We think they're going to be pretty good. They play against the Broncos, one of the top Ds, if not the top D. Great offensive line. They have KC in their division. At the end of the day, Chip Kelly, they got old man Carroll there. Yeah, they may want to run the ball. That may be what they want to do, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to throw the ball. And Jacoby Myers, really? Are we doing that? No. Gino was just out there talking today about how, he feels bad every time he can't get the ball to Bowers. So he's definitely one of them that when it's all said and done, I want to be at 20% or more Bowers, especially now that he's fallen. If you guys remember, some of you who's been watching me since day one, by the way, I'm in a sprint lobby while I'm doing this talking. So if anybody wants to join the sprint, we are waiting on 6. Hop on in there with us. See if we can get it to fill. If not, we'll move on to something else. I'm surprised actually Underdog didn't drop new contest today. But with Bowers, I feel like, especially now that he slid back early in the year, I wasn't drafting much of him. When he was, the contest first came out, he said a lot at that right there at the early second round. And I wasn't really taking a whole lot of it. But then as he started moving back more in the second round to the middle of it, that's when I really started getting in on him. Once you're past London and BTJ and Achan and them, I just think he's a smash pick. At the end of the day, he could damn near have as many fantasy points as a lot of the receivers going around the 2-3 turn. So would I rather would I rather take a guy a little bit earlier in the middle of the second who can give me that type of production, like at the tight end spot, when a lot of the teams in my pod are going to be doing the take three gross late tight end things. I don't really like to do it a whole lot where I have three gross tight ends. You can see by my exposures. I do a lot of two really good tight ends. I do a lot of, like, say, Andrews and Hawkinson together, or, Hawkinson and Ertz. One guy I want more of, but he's harder to get now, is Kittle, just because he's moved up. I was doing some work on some tight ends today, and one guy that I definitely am getting very intrigued about. The more I dig into him, the more I think about maybe ways that that coaching staff can use him. I want to give me some more Tyler Warren. He's at a pretty decent price for what I think, he can possibly do fantasy wise. Loveland's a guy that I want more of too. I'd like to see both of them get up maybe more closer to 10% or something like that. Fryermuth will come down. I was drafting a whole lot of Fryermuth before the Janu trade, assuming Rodgers was going to play there and everything. I really haven't been drafting him a whole lot at all. So now it's coming down. I was up to, probably when the John Who trade happened, I was probably up to like 18, maybe 20% Fryermuth. I don't know. I had a crap ton of Fryermuth because I did not see that trade coming, but I was playing it the whole time as though Rodgers was going to be there. Let's say what's up. What's up, Candyman? Look at Candyman, fresh off his Jeopardy win. Like, the boy knows his math. I don't know what he does for a living, but the boy knows his math. That's for sure. What's up, Steve? What's up, Mark? Good to see you in here. Hartman, we had some good conversations last night. Yes, we are trying to get a sprint to fill, waiting on two more people. If Puka was better, they would call him Brock Bowers. That's an interesting comment. I like Puka too. Nothing wrong with Puka, but I don't know. I feel like some of us are playing tight end wrong this year. We'll go ahead and switch over though. It looks like we might get this sprint to fill. We are waiting on just one more contestant to hop in and help us make this draft work. And we got it filled. Something tells me we're going to have some friends. Steve is in there at the 6th spot. I know he's a fan of this contest. I don't recognize anybody else's name, but if you're in there, let me know. How's everybody doing tonight? It's been a fun day for content, hasn't it? We had PPR Tyler was on the randomizer today. That was a hilarious episode. If you missed it, I was sitting at my girl's soccer thing watching it, and I know a couple of times, like, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Literally, I know some of the other parents in there were probably like, "Damn, what's that dude listening to?" Bowers is tough for me at cost. I'm one of the guys playing it the wrong way. Well, let me see if I can convince you otherwise, Dirty P. Okay, let's just go, because at the end of the day, it's fantasy points, right? That's what we want. With a way shittier QB and a way shittier offensive system in general, no good running backs whatsoever to help take the pressure off. The man, as a rookie, had 206 points. We'll just keep it at 206 points, okay? Um, T. Higgins, who goes a little after him, he's been in the league a while now. He does not have one 200-point season. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the man. We know he can put up some numbers, but last year he fell off. Let's look at everybody's boy, Ladd. Yeah, could Ladd take another step this year and put up more numbers than that on a team that wants to run the ball a lot, went out and got running backs to even be better at running the ball? Sure, Ladd could put up better numbers than that, though. But Bowers put up more than him last year. Drake London. Drake London had a little bit more points than him last year, 230. And that's kind of my cutoff, to be honest with you. It's like if we look at it now as a whole, I'll take, of course, Nico, BTJ, London, I'll take over him. But kind of when we get to where he's at, y'all know I ain't drafting Bucky, but like I honestly take Bowers over Ladd most of the time. Most of the time, I take Bowers over Brown. It's just how I'm playing it. I think another guy I want to start getting more of is Mr. Three touchdowns today. I know it's camp, but still, the dude's a stud. Speaking of guys who have a better quarterback than what they did last year, here's one thing I'm trying to target a lot too. And I don't think I even told y'all about this yet, but over the last couple weeks, I did a lot of my research. I did a lot of work. I keep talking about this list that I have with my offensive line rankings, my top 20 defensive rankings. I didn't bother to go with anything past 20 because they all suck anyways once you get to that point, to be honest. And see, like I don't like to go crazy with Bowers. Like, here I'm probably gonna get Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas, London. One of those guys will be there. It's normally when I'm at the like 17, 18 spot, something like that. Then all of my favorite fun targets up here are gone. But I do take like London and Brian Thomas over Bowers still. We will start Neighbors and BTJ. But one thing that I'm trying to really focus on now the rest of the summer, and part of why I put that list together that I did is there's a bunch of teams. I'm gonna start naming some of them: the Bengals, the Giants, the Browns, the Jags, the Saints, the Titans, the Cowboys, the Raiders. All of those teams that I just named, by my rankings, and I trust the research that I do, they have, we'll call it bottom 12 offensive lines. There's other ones in there, but the caveat is all of those teams that I just named, they also have, by my rankings, bottom 12 defenses. So those are teams: the Titans, the Saints, the Jags, Cowboys, the Raiders, the Browns, the Giants, the Bengals. Yes, I said the Giants. Sorry, Steve. I don't really want to target their running backs that much. I'm not saying that I won't take their running backs here and there on the right team, but I see those teams as having bad offensive lines and bad defenses, which is a perfect combination to always, if not always, very frequently be playing from behind in games, be playing catch up. Even if it's complete garbage time, stats count and teams throw in garbage time more than they run when they're losing. So those are just teams that, I really, now that we're getting down to it, a little over a month or so left in the best ball summer, I really want to attack a lot of those passing games. A lot of the teams I just mentioned are teams that I've already been in on some of their receivers or some aspects of their passing game. I see more and more people starting to do my Lamar super early third. This guy did it at the 2-3 turn. I've done a couple Chase Lamar teams. I wonder, let me see when it gets over to me here. For as much as we like Garrett Wilson, we don't have a lot of Garrett Wilson with Neighbors. We do have a decent amount of Adams, but he just went. We don't have any Chase Brown Neighbors. And Brown stayed, so we'll grab him. Been using my combo tool more. The more I play with it, the more I like it also. I was talking about the content today, that the PPR Tyler on Randomizer. If you didn't watch it today, I would definitely give it a watch. It is hilarious. It's a very fun show in general. That one today was really good. The Jeopardy, if you missed Jeopardy, which was on just a little bit ago, friend of the stream, me and Hartman and him get together about once a week. Chris the Candyman took down Bindles. Think we want to just go Hampton here. Well, we did want to go Hampton, but somebody else wanted to go Hampton also. Let's go let's go Mike Evans. You know, I talked about the other day with somebody that when we were talking about Tampa, he's the one guy that I actually like the price of him for Tampa. Him and White. I'll take White. We have neighbors, Thomas and Evans. Nice little receiver room. Chase Brown so far at the running back. Hoping I could get Hampton there, but somebody took him right before me. No big deal. He puts a lot of streams. I just have a hard time investing draft capital in rookie tight ends. There are definitely some good ones this year. I mean, tight end position isn't your grandpa's tight end position, as they like to say. You know, we've seen rookie tight ends come in the league and be damn good with coaches who know how to use them right and need them to be playmakers for them. I think most underrated thing with Bowers is that people are almost assuming he can't become a better player. He's only 22. Warren is 23. That is very true, Hartman. That is very, very true. What's up, Peanut Punch? Enjoying the show from the 10 spot. Sorry, wasn't a subscriber yet. Well, welcome. We are here damn near every night, my friend. I'm glad you happened to find us. We 10 o'clock Central, that's my time. We call it the nightcap. We have fun. We have a lot of guests on throughout the week. But welcome. Glad you found us. He is in the 10 spot. My man started Puka AJ Brown, JSN, and he is the one who took the deal on Hampton in the 4th round. Great minds think alike, I guess. I was hoping he'd fall to me there in place of Evans, but we like Evans too, so no big deal. Could go Mixon. Everybody's freaking out over Mixon in the walking boot. I don't love the other two receivers on the board in front of him. I could have done BTJ, I mean Hunter for the double stack, I guess, but I'm still in on Mixon. I think he's going to be just fine. Everything that I am hearing from my Texans sources tell me that it was an workout injury that he suffered, that he's fine. There's just no rush to have him back out there day one of camp. He was out there today walking around, didn't have a boot on. I saw pictures of him. He's not hiding like Najee. Let's go. I think we want to go Rome here. Chase Brown, Mixon, Roma Dunze, Evans, BTJ, Neighbors. And we'll see what comes back around to us. Well, he's not hurting me unless he gets hurt because I'm pretty high on him. You know, it was not that long ago that Hawkinson had a tight end one season, and now he is 2 years removed from his injury, playing with a great offense, a great offensive coach. a quarterback play that should hopefully be pretty good, you know? I mean, they're a Super Bowl contending team. I think if they didn't think that McCarthy was going to be good or good enough, like they would have done something to make sure they have a better backup than Sam Howell, I think. Still wouldn't, they probably know they can pick up a phone and give up a late pick and get Kirk Cousins if worst comes to worst during the season or something like that. Have to go. Hopefully, two of three of us can advance. Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully, one of them is me. I think we'll maybe grab a third running back here. I think we want to go Pacheco. Steve and Dirty P say that they're out on it. Steve says he can get a top five tight end later, can't get a top five wide receiver or running back later. I do take Bowers, but ain't no way I'm getting overweight. Will be pressed match field. We are almost back on the clock, so we better pay attention to our draft. Also, guys, I think we're just going to reach down a little bit and take Higgins because I don't really like anything else there. Now, I will say this on my Bowers around 20%. You guys have to remember, those of you that's followed me for a while, I am pretty out on McBride, like talking 1, 2% maybe McBride. Let's look at my McBride real quick. Yeah, well, 3.4%. So the way that I look at it is just I am I like Brock Bowers that much more. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to go into why I'm out on McBride. It's more of a Kyler thing, especially in the red zone. And so really it's like if I'm 18% on Bowers and I'm only like 2 or 3% on McBride, then I mean at the end of the day it's really just like I'm what 10% ish on the top two tight ends that you have to take early. I'm just choosing to play it all through Bowers pretty much, which I won't get over 20%. And honestly, just because it's really that one draft area, like basically when I'm kind of right in here, or if I'm here and he falls. But there are 2, 3 turn guys I like, and I never take him really over like BTJ, or I'd probably take Henry over him. I take London over him. Every now and then I will take Lad, but normally I'll go Bowers over Lad myself. And so at the end of the day, like I say I'd want to be close to 20, but it'll probably be more like 15 to 17, 18%, something like that would be my guess. A lot of it depends on draft slot too, I mean, I'm not gonna like reach and take him, like I said, early second. He doesn't always fall late second. So a lot of it just depends on how many drafts I have with that spot. Let's I think we're gonna go ahead and grab a quarterback here. We have Rome. So it's kind of a nice time to add in our first quarterback. Caleb Williams, come on down. Let me see what my next couple picks are. 112, 129, 136. So we got some things we might want to do. We can probably do that later though. Might have to eventually reach a little bit for that. I'm gonna reach down and grab Kirk with this team. Trying to build out some stuff we want to go after. Neighbors, BTJ, Evans, Rome, Higgins, and Kirk. Y'all know I love doing that combo together. Chase Brown, Joe Mixon, Pacheco, and Caleb. What's Steve been up to over there? Andrews, Mason, Diggs, Debo. Debo looked a lot better today. I saw a picture of him running around. He looks like he lost a little bit of weight from when we last saw him at OTAs. Figured he would. Nice little team going over there. What about Peanut Punch? We saw the top half earlier. McCarthy with Hawkinson, Travion, and Aaron Jones added to his running back room. I don't know. That's enough tight end talk though. That's just something that I've been thinking lately is a lot of my teams I want to make sure that if it's not a team where I have two tight ends that I feel like can really give me some good points, I definitely want to have one. I don't like doing a lot of the just really gross three tight end builds. I mean, what do we win when we win, right? Like, okay, whichever one ping pongs and hits our lineup for 8 points that day most weeks. There are some guys that do intrigue me in the late rounds. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of my teams, if I have like Andrews as my first tight end, then I do have a lot of teams where maybe I still go three tight ends with Andrews because I took two tight ends in the 17th and 18th rounds because I like the way that all the other positions was built out. We're going to grab Trevor Lawrence for the stack with BTJ. So that gives us two quarterbacks, both of them paired up with some receivers. I think we're going to get Ray Davis here. Just like I talked about, I listed all those teams that I really want to target a lot of their wide receivers and a lot of their pass game pieces and stuff because I feel like they have really bad defenses and also really bad O lines. The same can be said for, like there's teams like the Broncos, to some degree, the Vikings, the Chargers, Gibbs and Bijan, of course. The Bears running backs. Y'all see me drafting a lot of the Bears running backs. Although the Bears don't have a good defense, I'm just a big Ben Johnson guy. I think that offense is going to be light years better than what it was last year. And they have some talented people. The Bills have a really good offensive line, they have a pretty good defense. They showed last year that they're definitely more content on just running the ball instead of throwing it all over the place if they're winning the game that way. What's up, Colin? Good to see you, my man. I don't see tight end one season from Hawk, but I think he'll definitely be a good player. If JJ's 80% of what Darnold was last year, it should be legit contenders. I mean, Darnold is Darnold. That's all the coach. I mean, we're talking about the same coach that made Dobbs look good for a little bit. The The thing to me is, and why I'm really in on all of them, Addison, of course, JJ, and Hawkinson, is like we haven't really seen. I don't think of Sam Darnold as a good quarterback. Y'all know how I feel about him. We have not seen O'Connell with an actual good quarterback, in my opinion, yet. If JJ is good, like that offense could just be freaking insane. Because I am very, very high on O'Connell, if you can't tell. Let's see here. Our man right in front of me still doesn't have any quarterbacks. He's really pushing it. Matthew Stafford as his first quarterback. I'm gonna take Bryce Young. One of my favorite backstacks this year, probably y'all's also, is Bryce Young. I mean, you can get some nice pieces, like Adam Thielen may be the most undervalued player in this whole board. I mean, you know, we were talking about points, right? I mean, last year and he was hurt some, but when he was healthy, he was good. He still put up 115, 179 the year before that. I like Leggett also. With this team, I'm pretty strong up top at receiver. So this is actually a team where I prefer to go Leggett over Thielen. The way I kind of play those two on my backdoor Bryce stacks like that is like if I feel like I'm good up top, right? Like I know what I'm getting up top. I don't need to chaperone and Thielen, Mr. Consistency. We have neighbors. We got BTJ. We got Mike Evans. We got Rome. I got the two Texans that I feel like between Higgins and Kirk, I'm getting one usable score a lot of weeks out of the two. Some weeks it might be Higgins, some weeks they might be hidden in the slot with Kirk. And so on a team like this, I think I prefer Leggett, who yeah, he's not gonna hit my lineup a ton, but like when he hits my lineup, it's probably gonna be he probably has a higher chance of hitting my lineup with a really nice spike week. Whereas I think Thielen's going to kind of be more of the, Mr. Consistent. I like putting him on a team where maybe I have a couple rookies, maybe I was building out some Baltimore stuff or Green Bay. Maybe I have Golden and Higgins on the team as receiver. And maybe I took Lamar and I took one running back early because I don't like to wait too long to get my first running back at least, or a team maybe where I took two heavy running backs. But a team where I could really use just a super consistent, reliable receiver, that's when I tend to go more like Thielen. We're in the 15th round, just started it, sitting at a 3-4-7 and Bow. And no, we didn't draft Bowers. That's right. 3-4-7, nothing. Don't have any tight ends yet. This is one of them. I said I don't do it much, but this is definitely a team where we're definitely going three tight ends with three of the last four picks. Probably going to cap it at five running backs. It's going to be pushing it a little, but I got three starters, so I'm okay doing that. We have Brown, Mixon, and Pacheco. Ray Davis is a backup, but he's a backup that's also going to play a lot. Speaking of tight ends, what do you guys think about Noah Fant going to Cincy today? Does that make Gasecki, I'm not going to say undraftable, but not near as intriguing? I was drafting some Gasicki, but I think I'm going to kind of hold off on him now for a little bit. Don't know if we want to go quite with a tight end yet. Yeah, we do. We're gonna grab us some Elijah Arroyo. I was just I told you guys I was doing some tight end and digging today, and I want to say it was fourth. Let me go look real quick because I don't want to lie to the people. But ESPN, on ESPN's little NFL draft breakdown thing that they do where they analyze pick by pick, position by position, or whatever, they actually have Elijah Arroyo rated third at the position. I was already in on him. I had been drafting him. Where are we at on him, by the way? 4%. So I guess maybe I haven't been drafting him as much as I thought I have. I think we need to definitely make sure we get some more. Let's see. Finish this off with one more running back, then a tight end, or vice versa. What do you guys want to draft next? I'm kind of up for whatever. I can maybe do a sprint again. I want to start getting my sprint numbers up. It's so hard to get these suckers to fill, though. Maybe we can go see what the lobby is at right now. I just like the format myself. It kind of like everything that I prioritize in the way that I like to generally build my teams. I try to get as much team correlation as I can. I take kind of their overall playoff schedule into account. I think we're just gonna grab the running back because I really wanted one of those two. And Lloyd just went, so we'll go ahead and grab Hunter. Then we'll just get whatever tight end to finish it off. But I really just think that the sprint format is very interesting to me. I'd rather do anytime I want to do a $20 ish draft and there's not anything that's like a smaller field, like the pit bulls and stuff like that when they drop those. Of course, I like those even better. But out of BBM and out of the sprint, for $5 less, I know we're not going for as big a bucks. Since we have neighbors, let's throw Theo on there. That is the team. Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, running back room, Brown, Mixon, Pacheco, Davis, and Hunter. Malik Neighbors, BTJ, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Jaden Higgins, and Kirk, and Leggett. So really, really good receiver room. I probably didn't have to go with the Leggett pick, but we wanted to put somebody with Bryce, Ertz, Arroyo, and Johnson. If my running back room can stay healthy, I like this team a lot. We have the three up top in Pacheco, Mixon, and Brown, so we definitely need them to stay healthy. All we have really behind them is Ray Davis and Hunter. Overall, we like the team though. I think it's pretty good. Quarterbacks are good. Got enough there at quarterback. Receivers should carry the team. And we can put enough points together at tight end between Ertz. If Arroyo can be something, they got rid of Fant. So obviously, you know, that tells me that they kind of like what they have in Arroyo. I told you I saw ESPN had him rated like 3 at the tight end position. We like the team overall though. Thought it finished pretty good. This 7th the team in the 7th is killing me. Unstacked and took both my late quarterback stacks. Yeah, that's what I noticed that because he was right in front of me. I noticed that he took Matthew Stafford. Oh no, the 7th guy you said. Sorry. Jordan Love, Cam Ward, Bo Nix. Made you end up having to go with a Tyler Shuck. What do you guys want to draft? Talk to me. I jumped in another sprint lobby, but it still needs 9 players. So I don't know. I may end up getting out of that one. Unless a bunch of you guys want to jump in another sprint and we can fill it up. Talk to me though. I'm up for whatever. We can do an eliminator. I'm surprised Underdog didn't drop a contest today. It does seem a little on the quiet end. I'm also surprised my buddy Mark hasn't been complaining about it. But what do y'all think? Some of y'all veteran under guy dogs out there. What's up, Who Hames? Good to see you stopping by. Coolers, Who Hames, Steve, Peanut. When we getting some more contests, man? Are they coming tomorrow? He used all the draft capital on Arroyo to 50th overall. Yes, I agree. They told me Fant's time was up. That told me time. But I don't know if I want to wait on another sprint. So what do you guys want to draft? Y'all want to get in an eliminator? Let's give me just a second. If a bunch of people don't jump in it, I'm gonna do one thing real quick. Go over here. I haven't updated my eliminator exposures. Shouldn't take me but a second. Then I think we'll just go jump in some eliminators. No, that's not what I wanted. Go to my mail real quick. Download that. Tomorrow night, you guys can check me out on Hartman's channel. Me and fresh off of his Jeopardy big win tonight, me and Hartman and Chris will be doing our weekly thing. It's going to be over on Hartman's channel this week. And I think he's got some fun stuff lined up for us, I believe. I am going to jump in an eliminator. We got out of the sprint. Didn't feel like sitting around waiting on another one. Hopefully they start filling a little bit faster. It's about to be an eliminator. Yes. I'm going to enter it right at 10:45 on the dot. I like kind of going with the minute. Everybody's watches and phones and computers are pretty synced up these days. It's Snapfield, so if you got put in a different lobby, sorry about that. No matter how we try to time it up, sometimes that happens. But I tell you what, I'll probably do a third draft tonight, and we can do another eliminator if y'all want, because I probably won't be on my channel tomorrow night. Just depends how late we're over on Hartman's channel. Maybe I'll hop on for one draft if we end kind of early. And then I'm switching up my days a little bit. You guys know normally Saturday nights is the night I don't stream. I'm not going to be live at all Friday night, but we will be live Saturday night and Sunday night for some super fun shows. Good buddy of mine will be in town. We're going to drag him on stream with us. The drinks will be flowing. We're going to have a good old time. So come hang out Saturday and Sunday night if you don't have anything going on. Badge Bros contest is kind of cool too, except as soon as you get done with them and then you go back to a regular draft, you're like, man, where's that super team at that I just had? So, one thing, if you guys have the best ball overlay, check this out. I started doing this. You can actually take off weeks 16, 17, 15, 16, 17. And when I do eliminators, I started liking to just kind of throw up those first 4 weeks so that now, instead of showing me, let me upload my files real quick. Get, get that right. Um, Washington, Dallas, KC, and the Chargers. Or we got Puka, but Puka has to play the Texans week 1. That's tough. Philly's tough. I think I'll keep going with some Malik Neighbors, the theme for tonight. But I started doing that the other day when I noticed that it had that option on there. Switch it up. For all the other contests, I do like to just kind of keep it 15, 16, 17, of course, and see what my playoff weeks matchups are. Nice and handy right there. But I think it's kind of nice to just be able to just right there see my first 4 weeks, who they play. That's what we want to target, right? My strategy for the eliminators is a little bit different, than when we're playing in the regular season long tournaments that we're trying to just make the playoffs and then make the finals once we get in the playoffs. Tampa, Minnesota, Carolina, Washington. Sounds good to me. Let's do some Drake London. But with the eliminators, you know, I want to do a combination of draft players that overall I think I'm high on this year and I think we'll do good. But I really want to focus on those first 4 weeks of the season because I feel like so many teams are out, right? Everybody thinks like I don't think people realize how damn hard this tournament is going to be. I mean, like just doing the math on it, literally going into week 2, it's chopped in half, right? So that's 50% of the field. Okay, well then every week is chopped in half. So like going into week 3, just week 3, we're already down to only about a quarter of the teams that started out left. So I feel like the more teams that you can get into week 3, possibly week 4, then it really just becomes a crapshoot because it is head to head every week. It's a lot of it is just going to depend on luck. Like, did your team go off more than the team that you're playing? Was your team constructed right as far as like, not too many overlapping bye weeks? Do you have a team that can produce points at every level of it, meaning quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end efficiently? Some positions, of course, are going to be stronger than others naturally. But at the end of the day, we want at least those 3 of the 4, we really want to be like, what we would consider really good to pretty strong positions for us. Hmm. I'm not super in on Marv, but I do actually like Arizona's schedule early. I mean, we're talking about at New Orleans, Carolina, San Francisco, Seattle. None of those teams are scaring me. So while I don't target Marv a whole lot in regular tournaments, I do think in the eliminator, I want to start targeting him. So far, we just have three wide receivers. This is an eliminator, so we don't want to get too far behind on running backs. But we have a plan. We'll get us some running backs. I think we probably go running back here unless if Kittle's on the board. Kittle will be awful damn tempting. I mean, they may not have any wide receivers healthy at this rate. Week one, it may be like Kittle and some guys they sign off the street. Ayuk's not going to be there. How bad is Pearsall's stuff? They tell us that it's not serious, but this is the same coaching staff that told us CMC stuff wasn't serious last year, about this same time of year when he wasn't practicing. We're going to hold off on running back one more time because we feel like Kittle in the eliminator could be a real difference maker. But we're just going to keep in mind that we do not have any running backs, and we will be trying to target probably three of them at least within the next 4 rounds, probably would be my guess. I'll do another one after this, Mark, if you're still around. I really need to get some sprints in, but facts they just don't feel. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to get some in this weekend. Come hang out with us Saturday and Sunday night, starting at 10 Central. That's my buddy Mark right there. He'll be in town. We're gonna be drinking and drafting together, and we'll try to get in a couple sprints, I'm sure. This is an eliminator. Oh yeah, you were the one that was saying you're into the Badge Bros. I did some of those Badge Bros when it first came out. I haven't drafted one in the last couple days. They're fun though. I kind of felt like I did one or two of them, and then to me, I felt like there was something that could be taken advantage of that I felt like at least some of the teams in my lobbies were drafting it wrong. And so I started kind of using a particular strategy. And I like the teams that I build. I only build about maybe 10 of them total or something like that. Maybe a little less. It might have been more like 8. I'm not for sure how many I did. I may end up doing some more. That's one that'll hang around, I think, a little bit. You can't jump in any slows or anything. We are in the 5th round. We started wide receiver strong with Neighbors, London, and Marv. No overlapping bye weeks. That is something I definitely do try to pay attention to, especially early. Like, I'm okay if guys have like week 12 or week 14 bye. Like, every one of my teams can't win the whole thing anyways, right? And so, like, if some of my teams get kicked out because I was lucky enough to make it to week 12 or 14, when we're probably talking about like 1-2% of the field left at that point anyways, then like you're getting a nice payday, a few $1,000s. I forget how much it is. I worked the math out on it before, but it is pretty nice paydays at 12 and definitely at 14. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Travion here. I almost reached down a little bit for Pacheco just because I feel like I can count on him more early season. But I'm gonna hope that either like him or Swift will come back. We're gonna hit running back kind of hard now that we have three receivers and a tight end that we like. we'll figure out quarterback as we go. I'd like to have about 3 running backs who I like here over the next few rounds. We said 3 out of 4 before we took Mr. Henderson. And when in doubt, you always take the guy with the higher ADP. Henderson probably would not have came back to me, but Pacheco is still there. So because we simply always go with the take the higher ADP, right? I mean, that's simple. I don't have to tell y'all that. But that's why I went Henderson, even though I felt like Pacheco for an eliminator in general is a little bit, safer pick probably. But I did think that there was a chance I could get both, and it worked out that way. I have a question for you guys, and you can just answer it in the chat. And I probably should because I know it helps the engagement and all that a little more. But like me personally, it kind of annoys me how we got to answer poll questions every chat room for every stream that we go in. And I mean, I get it. I know why we do it clearly. But if you guys notice, I try not to do it every night. If there's a question I really think's a good question to ask, then I'll put a poll up there. But am I the only one who it kind of annoys whenever we got to answer the poll? Because most of the time, I'm not sitting down watching streams. Most of the time, I'm actually just listening to them. I got my phone in my pocket. I'm busy with my girls or doing something around the house or whatever. But then, I hear something and I want to comment on it real quick. But before I can comment on it, because it's the first time I went in chat, I got to answer the poll or close out the poll, one of the two. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm curious. Does the poll questions that us best ball streamers put at the beginning that you have to answer before you can hop in there and chat, does it bother you? Do you not care? Do you enjoy them? Maybe I'm just the weirdo and I don't like it. But I've been wondering that. Let's see. I don't really love the running backs right here. There's not a screaming at me, oh, you really need that guy at receiver. I think we take Kyler and his easy schedule. I don't take much Kyler either, but I guess I have a decent amount of him in the eliminator, 6%. In the regular tournaments, I don't draft him much because I don't draft much Marv. I'm out on McBride. Now we'll probably go back to running back at this next pick. Let's see, what are our pick numbers? 88 and 105. Couple things we could do here. Probably running back or quarterback. I don't know. If this was a regular one, I'd go for Addison, but I really don't draft Addison in the eliminator. He is going to be suspended a couple games. Maybe that makes Hawkinson even a better play, but we already have Kittle. I really would prefer to just Kittle has that late bye week too. That's nice. So I really like to just play it as kind of like a 2 tight end team. That allows me to have it be a 3 quarterback team we're just going to go ahead and grab our boy Fields. Fields with Kyler. That feels good right now at quarterback. We could tack on something late with it too, possibly like a Penix. I almost went for a running back there that I really, really like, but he'll be right at about ADP. And I know a lot of people draft running back early in the eliminator. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get him to come back to us. Agree with you on the polls. The streamers are committed to them, though. Then they, the streamers, mostly forget about the polls altogether. So it's basically just there to be an annoyance. And it's like, I don't know. I need to do more research. It's like, I'm assuming that it helps somewhat with like, the engagement, but it doesn't. I've looked and as far as I can tell, it doesn't even really show up as like the chat engagement type stuff. I don't know. Like I honestly don't dig into like my analytical side of my channel that much because it's really small and we're like just here to have fun and have a good time. Yeah, sure. One day I'd like to, have my channel be at a point where, I can make a little bit of money off of it or whatever. I don't expect it to be anything major. Whatever I do make of it, I'll just put right back into best ball or something probably anyways. But so I don't know. Like I hope you guys appreciate that I don't do it. Figured I'd give you guys a little break. I know most of y'all are like me. I see y'all in all the other chats and stuff. And I know how much it annoys me. So that's one reason why I don't do it every night. If I really have a good question, I will. We did not get the running back that we wanted to come back. So we might have to really just kind of push it with this being an eliminator team. I think we just go Spears. We got to get some kind of running backs in there. We were really, really, really hoping Dobbins would come back to us there. The one thing is, all of my running backs have later bye weeks, so that will help me out a little bit. We might have to do some reaching as it goes on, just to make sure we can get the right guys in there. I think we'll wait on tight end. We're waiting on quarterback. I'll probably do 3 quarterbacks, but we have somebody in mind that makes a lot of sense later. Um, I would really like to just go Higgins here. We only have 3 receivers. I don't love any of the running backs that are there right now. So I think we just take Jaden Higgins. Texans have some nice games early at the Rams, Tampa, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Definitely some games that the offense should be able to put up some points in. If you guys haven't already, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're watching in the background and you have not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. Also, do your boy a solid. Help get the word out there. Tell your friends about JT Best Ball, the nightcap. That's where we hang out. Dang near every night. We try to have fun. We try to get some good guests on here for you. We try to talk about ball. Whenever I whenever I have a real interesting thought throughout the day or something when I'm doing a little bit of research or whatnot or on the weekend, I got no, if you could see my desk, I have note cards all over it because I'll just, jot stuff down that I want to talk about with you guys or if there's some research that I was doing that I think's kind of interesting. Nobody wants to take Judkins in the eliminator. I don't know if I've drafted an eliminator since his whole ordeal broke. Be interested to see who finally is willing to take a chance on him. I, unfortunately, because of how I did my eliminators, I purposely drafted like about 37 or so really early, like say late May and early June-ish through about mid-June. I was drafting a good decent amount of eliminators, not a lot. I mean, I only had like 37, 38, and then I stopped. I just stopped about mid-June for the most part, and that was the plan all along, was to just draft like a handful of them like that early. I want to end up with close to 100. If I can get more than 100, that'll be fine. Or if that's what I would like to do, honestly, it'll just be a matter of like time if I have enough time to draft them. Although I'm going to get a whole lot of drafts in next week. I keep telling y'all the wife and the kids are going out of town for a whole week. I am going to be drafting my ass off for those 7.5 days. We're going to pop up with a couple daytime streams. We'll still be here on the nightcap. It's that time of year, NFL teams back in the day did two-a-days. JT's going to hit up some two-a-days. I don't think I'll do it every day, but a couple days a week next week, I'm going to stream a draft or so, maybe around like 12, 1, somewhere in that range. Then we'll still be back for the nightcap, though. Let's see. We have 4 running backs now, 2 quarterbacks. I really would like Penix here if he stays. If not, we may just be tempted to leave it with 2 quarterbacks. I definitely won't take a quarterback at this pick if Penix goes, which he did. We only have, we have 4 receivers, and one of them is a rookie. Carolina has some games that they're going to need to be throwing in. So this is actually a team that Mr. Thielen would make some sense for me. 2, 4, 5, 1 right now. Travion, Pacheco, Spears, and Eckler at running back. All late bye weeks, too. So we'll have them all at our disposal early. Kyler and Fields, late-ish bye weeks. Receivers, Neighbors, London, Marv, Jaden Higgins, and Thielen. Kittle holding down the tight end room. Wanted Penix there, but somebody grabbed him. No worries. The fact that Fields and Kyler have 8 and 9 bye weeks, we may just push it with those two and just try to be good enough at all the other positions. It's going to be a 2 tight end team. So essentially, we could have it be like a 2-7-7-2 to where we're just hopefully have enough volume of players that we like at running back and wide receiver that we can score good enough in those weeks, or in those positions, I should say, not weeks. Polls don't reflect public opinion anyway, rather, they influence public opinion. Nobody wants to be an island by themselves. This is true. Good point. And some of them, it's like they don't even ask legitimate questions. It's like, did you slap the like button? I don't know. They just, most of the time, I'll be honest with you, I don't even answer them because I am in a hurry and I just want to put my what's up in there or whatever. And so you can click on the little buttony thing and just close it out or whatever. But that's why I don't use them a lot, is because I don't like them myself. I'm still kind of into Jaden Blue. We don't hate Jaden Blue. But I also like Tillman, I think. Let's go Tillman. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, and Detroit for Tillman. Definitely some games that Cleveland is going to have to be chunking the ball around in, probably playing catch up or trying to therefore keep up with the likes of Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, and Detroit. They were one of the 8 or 9 teams that I called out at the beginning. Teams with a bad defense and bad offensive line. A lot of people are really worried about the little former assistant coach or whatever who's a podcaster who said he's hearing that Jaden Blue might have work ethic problems. I know. Turpin had the long run in practice, but I'll throw him on there. Why not? We're going to have 7 running backs on this team, so we can afford to take a flyer on a guy who is one of the only pure running backs with some juice there. Although I will say, if we keep seeing stuff of Turpin in the backfield taking handoffs throughout camp, that would make me be really in on him too. In just a second. I don't know why my stupid phone's been acting weird lately with that. I was in on Tank Bigsby earlier in the year. I need to get back in on him. I guess for me, I've just kind of been waiting. I've kind of been waiting to see what the I've kind of been waiting for camp. I want to see like kind of how, their room plays out. Does he get traded? He's one that, like, if they really do still, if the new coaches like ETN, they obviously drafted Tootin. I think they'll keep all 3 myself. I think we like Roshan here myself. Then maybe next time we could go with the tight end. Roshan just went though. Who else is there? What do we want to do? Could we go that? Let's go Rico Dowdle. Why not? He's got a late bye week. I think that can be an advantage in the eliminator. Or I don't know if it's an advantage, but I've found that I've really liked my eliminator teams when I have two quarterbacks like this that I feel okay enough about that I'm okay keeping it at a two quarterback team. Maybe it's even like an elite quarterback within a later quarterback, and you just feel good enough about the two. And if you're okay with your tight end room at two tight ends, then the depth that you can build out at receiver and running back, hitting 7 in each position, or sometimes I'll even do like an 8 wide receiver, 6 running back room if I took running backs. If I started at running backs earlier than these guys, than this draft, where like my top 3 I felt better about than Henderson, Pacheco, and Spears as a group. I'm gonna go Mason Taylor for my second tight end. He stacks with Fields. Not that I still try to stack in the eliminator. I'm not gonna go crazy with team stacks, especially because of bye weeks and stuff. But like at the end of the day, like I said, I think this tournament is going to be a lot harder than what people think it's going to be. And at the end of the day, you're still going to need to, if you're really wanting to win head-to-head matchups week after week after week, I mean, you're not going to be able to have a really bad week. And I think a good way you can do that is make sure that you do have one, sometimes two stacks, with your quarterbacks. The later the bye week, the more likely I would be to do it like a double stack. Like I don't know if I'd do a Bears double stack because they have the week 5 bye. I don't know if I'd do like a CJ, Nico, and Higgins all on the same team in an eliminator because they do kind of have the earlier bye week. Got a pretty cool Tank Bigsby deep dive that I can share on Discord if anybody wants to believe in Tank. I would love to see it, Dirty P. I would love it. Let me know when you post it and where you post it. I'll definitely check it out. Tank was great at Auburn. Yeah, I loved Tank as a prospect. Y'all are talking me into getting him. If you watch some of my early stuff, I was in on Tank like when we first were drafting, especially like right after I first moved over to Underdog, because like I kind of see it like Tootin and ETN are kind of fighting for the same role ish, I think. Whereas like I think Tank is just gonna be the goal line back and he's still gonna get some regular type work too, carries. Whereas I think, ETN and Tootin, they're the guys that they bring in maybe as a change of pace, try to hit some explosive runs with them. One of those two will definitely be in there. Probably ETN in the passing game. Honestly, Tootin better figure out how to stop fumbling, or I don't know how much he's going to be in there at all. If y'all didn't know, I like Giddens. We don't have near as much of him in the eliminator as we have in the regular tournaments, but we still like Giddens. Because it's an eliminator, and because Addison we know is going to be suspended a couple games, I think I'm gonna take Naylor as my last receiver. It's essentially their wide receiver too early. I'm okay using my 18th round pick on a guy just to maybe he can put up a nice spike week game early on and help get this team going into the head to heads. That's the team though. Kyler, Fields, Travion, Pacheco, Spears, Eckler, Jaden Blue, Rico, and Giddens. Just super depth at running back. Wide receiver is Neighbors, London, Marv, Jaden Higgins, Thielen, Tillman, Naylor. Tight end room is just held down with Kittle and then the rookie Mason Taylor paired with Fields. I like it. It could do some stuff, I think. Tank's film is pretty eye opening. At least it was for me. Yeah, yeah, send it to me and maybe this weekend, like I said, I don't know if I'll be on my channel. Um Tomorrow, it just depends on how late me and Hartman and Candyman are on Hartman's channel. Be sure to check that out. Always some fun conversations when us three get together. And then Friday night, I'm not going to be live at all, but I'll definitely be on this weekend. And if you don't mind, Dirty P, I'll maybe kind of summarize it for you one night this weekend, or at least talk about it and bring it up. Tootin has been a fade for me. Love the speed, but weak yards after contact, fumble issues, not good in pass protection. I'm not gonna lie. There was like a 2 week period where I kind of out of fear had this little Tootin fling. And what I mean by that is I wasn't in on Tootin. I was pretty out on him. I took a few ETNs here and there. And like I said, I was drafting Tank. But then it just got to where like everybody there now this is going back maybe about a month ago. Let's say late June-ish. And everybody was just loving them some Tootin, rootin' Tootin. And so there was about a 2 week period where I started grabbing me some of him because I kind of let the fear get to me. And it only lasted for about 2 weeks. And then I was like, you know what? This is stupid. Like, I don't like the guy. I don't see him being, unless they trade one of their other two running backs, I do not see him being the type of guy, honestly, that hurts me to the point that I wish I had him. And so I'll still take him every now and then just because, yes, there is a chance that they trade, but I don't think I'll take him much at all. And hopefully my percentage will end up with like, I don't know, if I ended up with like maybe 4 or 5%, something like that, I'd be okay. I draft a crap ton of teams, not as many as some of you guys, but a good amount of teams. I would say on average 3 to 5 teams a day, depending on the day. And so I don't want there to be that many guys that I am complete zeros on because we don't know, right? Even if they don't trade anybody, what if one of their running backs tears an ACL and now it's just what if it's ETN and he tears his ACL and now it's just Tank and Tootin? In that scenario, like Tootin is going to be playing a lot of football and he is explosive and he could end up being a guy that you do want on some teams. I've got too many dollars on the Colts backfield. Makes me a bit nervous. If I don't have JT, there's a good chance that I'm taking Giddens. That is exactly how I've been with the Colts backfield. It's like, unless both of them get hurt, though, right? Then, like, probably some of our teams somewhere are going to be doing well from it. Um, what do you guys want to draft? Do y'all want to draft something else? Since there's a possibility that we might not be on 2 nights in a row, we'll go ahead and do a third draft. We haven't got some music in a while. Let's get some music going for this. Tell you what, I already have my 4 weeks in or whatever for it. Let's just go do another eliminator. We need some more tournaments. Talk to me, guys. Are they giving us some more tomorrow? Y'all need to start blowing up Twitter again. It seems like when it's been quiet, people haven't been complaining like they did last time that it was like 3 days without some fun, exciting new tournaments. So I guess they're trying to see if they could keep it quiet for a while. They need people. They need to do like another sprint promo or marathon promo to get those tournaments going. It is so hard to fill them. We're gonna hop in another eliminator at 10:27. Hopefully this one doesn't instant fill and you guys can hop in it with me if you want. If not, we'll just draft a banger that goes all the way. This one will probably be it as far as the stream goes for tonight. So get in while you can. Any second now, it should change to 10:27. Kind of been going with the minute versus the countdown. It seems to work pretty well too, I think. Waiting on 9 people still, so any and everybody that would like to get in it. Waiting on 9. Part of the reason why I am so in on Bowers too, and I know Mark disagrees with this, but like Chip Kelly is a really good offensive coach. And like the Raiders, if you were paying attention at the beginning, are one of the teams that have a really big defense. Yes, Mark, it is an eliminator. Waiting on 9, there's still plenty of room. They have a really bad defense, and they also have a really bad offensive line. Chip Kelly is a good offensive coordinator, in my opinion. And one thing that Chip Kelly has always been really good at is using the talent that he has available. You know, at Ohio State, they had good running backs. They obviously are almost pretty much known as wide receiver U. They ran the ball, they threw to the receivers. Let's take a trip back to 2014, 2015 with his time with the Eagles. I don't personally believe that he's going to play the super over the top fast pace that he did then. A lot of the players didn't like it. Pete Carroll is more of an old school control the clock type guy. So I think Kelly showed that he's okay doing that when he's not the guy in charge. I mean, at Ohio State, they didn't play at a super blistering pace. They played rather slow on offense at times. But anyways, over the 2014 and 2015 years, part of this was young Zach Ertz years. The tight ends under Kelly for the Eagles combined for 192 receptions, 2,293 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And that is with absolutely nobody. Say what you want about Ertz. That is with nobody anywhere near the talent of one Brock Bowers. We got it to feel. Mark jumped in it. He's in the 11th spot. We are in the 9th spot. I see some other names that I've drafted with before, but I don't necessarily think they're in the stream. But if you are, let us know. McCaffrey at the 4 hole in the eliminator. That is the highest that I've seen McCaffrey go. Has anybody seen McCaffrey go at 4 before? in anything. It is pretty high. Maybe I just haven't drafted eliminators in a while. I told y'all how I purposely took a really big break on them. I drafted Neighbor. Well, Neighbors just went now anyways. I mean I like Puka, but I already have 13% of Puka. I'm gonna reach down and get my boy Nico. I want more Nico in the eliminator. The Rams, Tampa Bay, Jags, and Tennessee. None of those are teams that the corners or the secondary just really scare me. We'll see what comes back around to us at 16. Should be able to pair him with another nice player still. Let's grab us a running back. Let's go with JT. Overall, his schedule's nice. I mean, he does have the week 2 game against Denver. That one will obviously be tough. They're a really good defense, but should be able to start off pretty well. Miami got games at Tennessee, at the Rams. Mark started with Achan in London. Nothing wrong with that combo. We like both of those guys. Dirty P says he will take CMC 2 in the eliminator. So who is your 1? Is it Bijan maybe over Chase? Bijan CMC. Easy schedule, week 14 bye, and CM. Oh, excuse me. Taco night talking. He could easily garnish RB1, especially with San Francisco wide receiver injury history. Chase is always 101 even in the eliminator. Okay, that's fair. I don't know. I think if I was that high on CMC that I would take him at 2. I think Bijan in the eliminator would have to be my 101. That's not how I play it though. I wouldn't take CMC at 2. For me, it's always Chase as the 101, but Bijan would be my 102. I'm also just super high on Bijan this year. One thing when I was doing some research last weekend, and again, remember I drafted all these eliminator teams early, and I'll be honest, when I was drafting them like late May and early June, I hadn't done as much work on like the early season schedule and stuff like that. I was kind of just getting the guys I thought was going to have really good seasons. But as crazy as it sounds, knowing how you guys know that I am about Lamar, I think for the eliminator, I actually prefer Jaden. Lamar doesn't have the easiest schedule the first 4. Let's look at Jaden. The New York Giants, the Green Bay Packers, the Raiders, and Atlanta. I mean, 2 games that they should be able to win pretty easily in the Giants and the Raiders. And then the Green Bay and Atlanta games, those are very much games that could be like shootouts. None of those defenses are just like scaring anybody, right? So like I think I actually prefer Jaden over my boy Lamar in the eliminator. Mark grabs Kittle. Kittle over McBride. That is a stand, sir. But nothing wrong with it. I took Kittle in the last one. I mean, it's kind of got to be Hampton, right? We don't know if Najee has an eye. Well, we know he has one eye. We do not know if he has two eyes, though. I like that running back room. JT and Hampton, both pretty late buys. Jaden at the quarterback. Nico holding down the one receiver spot right now. We are off and running, boys. You agree with him on his CMC over Bijan at 2? Is that what you agree with, Mark? I would take Bijan over Barkley. I don't think I'd take him over Gibbs. I think for me, gun to my head, it would be Eliminator, Chase, Bijan, probably still JJ 3, Gibbs 4, CMC 5. Although sometimes I would still take Lamb at 5 because I'm super in on Lamb and just the Dallas passing game in general. What do we want to do here? I don't want Smith. I don't like Ridley going up against Denver week 1. We'll take Flowers. Flowers and Nico. Nice little receiver room. See what comes back around to us. Mark took Swift. I think Swift is a really good pick in this. That's actually who I was hoping would come back to me in the next round. But Mark made sure that he did not. For the same reason that I like Kittle a lot, I also like Jennings a lot because he may be the only wide receiver that is out there week 1 running routes with Kittle. And he has a really late bye week. The money thing, I'm not really too worried about that. Like San Francisco has about like 30 something million dollars in free cap right now, and all their receivers are dropping like flies. They're not going to give him a long-term deal, but they'll work something out, where they give him a little raise for this year or whatever, and then he's a free agent essentially next year anyways. 23% CMC through 100 eliminators. That is probably really nice considering you probably got a lot of your CMC shares then at a nice price too before you started flying up the board. Curious, Dirty P, why did you do so many of your... I'm assuming you'll max it. I'm assuming it's going to be 150 eliminators. I don't know. Isn't that a tournament that you would want to like save more than just a third of them for like once camp started. Like I don't think I'll end up maxing it, but who knows? I might. If I can get enough of them in, I will. But like I didn't want to do more than like 30 or 40 before this time of year because I just feel like this is really the type of tournament where even like a camp string as they call it, or like a rolled ankle that might keeping a guy out week 1 and 2 could be huge. So my plan all along for the eliminator was the closer we got to the regular season, the harder I'm gonna start hitting this thing. We're starting to warm back up to it though. Now that camp's going, we're starting to get some in because we can't obviously draft 100 teams. And well, me, some of you sickos that have a lot more free time than me could, but I cannot draft 100 teams of the eliminator and still be drafting in other tournaments all in like say a 1 week and a half time frame. Let's get probably a third running back in Jaylen Warren. I think that's what we're gonna go with. Yeah, let's do that. That gives us Taylor, Hampton, and Warren, another guy that will for sure be involved in this offense. With Jaden and a somewhat easy schedule, I'll probably keep it at a 2 QB team. Probably. We'll see. What pick numbers do I have? 88 and 105. You know what? I'm just going to take the guy I want. It's a little bit of a reach. Here is probably well, I guess it's not a hot take. I thought it was going to be a hot take, but everybody that I ask about it is like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I think health, if you take injuries out of it and you say both guys are healthy all year, the Broncos with the defense they have and the offensive line that they have, and the way I think Peyton really wants to play at his core and his heart, I think Dobbins ends up with more points than Harvey this year, and he's going quite a bit cheaper. I probably could have got him. Well, it's 50-50. This 105 is kind of right at his ADP. The last one, I was hoping he would come back around to me, and he did not. And I didn't really love anything else on the board right there. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and lock it up. I mean, he plays Tennessee, Indy, and Cincy's defenses 3 of the first 4 weeks. He's got a late bye week. I mean, what more could you want, right? Like, sounds like a really good eliminator running back to me. He's just the guy that, like, Harvey's a rookie and he's gonna be in there. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think Peyton is gonna love the veteran aspect of Dobbins, that he knows what he's gonna get. He knows he can put him in there, and the guy's gonna do his job. He's gonna be where he's supposed to be at. All that good stuff. We need another receiver here, I think. We might have to really attack receiver with volume, though, because just not loving a lot right there, to be honest with you. Go ahead and grab a tight end. We'll get Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews a lot in the eliminator. Just talked about at the beginning of the show how I like to know that I can get some good points from at least one of my tight ends. And I'm actually going to just double tap tight end because the guy I was doing some work on today that I decided I want to start being really into is Tyler Warren. And now that also gives me the flexibility to, again, just be done at tight end with those two if I choose to. Excuse me. With Jaden being my quarterback one, it's probably going to be a 2 QB team. We have a certain guy in mind. We'll see if he's there later. And see, like this one, because I had JT and Omari and Hampton and Warren, I reached for Dobbins because I just feel really good about him. This is the type of team that I'll probably do more like 8 wide receivers and 6 running backs if we went with just 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. And I'm probably done at running back, honestly, until the last 2 rounds. I'll probably tack, 2 of the backup upside type guys on with the last 2 picks. The quarterback we was hoping would come back to us went. That is the one guy I was worried about taking him. He's out here building Higgins, Harris, CJ stacks and bringbacks as though it's a playoff week 17 matchup that he wants. If that's what he chooses to do, no biggie. All right, Mark, I'm going to do it. Since it's an eliminator, in case you're right, I'll grab me a Hollywood Brown share. Why not? 141. Don't think. Probably not what I should have did, but oh well. He could have some really nice weeks early on with Rice out. Maybe it is true what they've been saying all off season. The first couple of days of Chiefs camp, there definitely seems to be an emphasis on chunking the ball more downfield. We're just going to keep really pushing QB2, I think. Let's take Mr. Eliminator ass pick and just quite possibly one of the better values on the board, Adam Thielen. We'll see what comes back around. Got to figure out QB2 with this particular eliminator team. We are counting on Jaden to just carry the room. I don't know. I might could be talked into it. Who Hames? You want to draft one? I was just saying how I wouldn't mind staying on a little later than normal tonight because I might not be on the next 2 nights. Tomorrow night I'll be with Candyman and Hartman, but we'll be on Hartman's channel. And then Friday night, my friend is flying in town, so I won't be on that night. But y'all come hang out this weekend. It's gonna be some fun drinking and drafting, and who knows what kind of conversations me and that guy will get into. If a couple of y'all want to do one more eliminator, I'll hang around for a fourth draft tonight. Why not? Yeah, but Harbaugh is one of those coaches you just really gotta, he's not gonna generally say bad things about his players, and he can just randomly go off on 2 to 3 minute positive coach speak rants about his players. He's always kind of been that way. All right, I guess we better get us something at quarterback. Let's take the rookie. Why not? Let's see what Cam Ward's all about. Look, Dirty P, you remember how I told you that a combination of early in the season, I was drafting a lot of Tank Bigsby, and that the out of the 40 or so eliminators I have, that I did like 37 of them really early. I got 25% Tank Bigsby in the eliminator. Just notice that. I think for this pick, probably go Roshan here. I think I've kind of decided with this particular team, we want to make it a 2-6-8-2. We could even probably do a 2-5-9-2. The receivers is where we could use some help. I mean, we had Nico and Flowers up top, but then Jennings, Hollywood, and Thielen. Tight end room, I think I'm going to be good with those two. Quarterback, we're just going to hope that Jaden can power us through, because there's not really any guys that, I don't know, I think help this team a lot. Maybe just start taking dart throw wide receivers with JT, Omarion Hampton, Warren, Dobbins, Roshan. Maybe we still take one more running back, one of those, like, if he got the job, he could crush type backs. We'll see when it comes back around to us. I thought you might be. I'll check out your Tank Bigsby stuff you said you sent me, though, for sure. It'll probably be tomorrow before I can dig into it. But I'll definitely check it out. We're in round 15. What's Mark been up to over there? He took my boy Blue, Bryce with Leggett. He also took Penix as his other quarterback. I think it's just those two right now. He had London, though, so that made sense. Got a nice little team going over there, sir. Let's go with Pat Bryant. Now we just need Keenan Allen to sign somewhere, guys. Where is Keenan gonna sign? I read something today. Everything that I have read or seen about Keenan Allen doesn't in any way say that he does not want to play football this year. So I really think he's gonna end up playing. It's just a matter of when and where. Let's take Tyler Lockett. We have Cam Ward as a quarterback. Tyler Lockett has a good 5 or 6 games in him as their wide receiver too, before one of the rookies probably overtake him. I don't know. I mean, they played Denver week 1. We know that Denver's all-world corner is going to probably be locked up on Ridley. So that could definitely be a game where Tyler Lockett has a sneaky good game. Play the Rams. They'll have to score some points there. Maybe he helps us get out of the first round. If in the eliminator, because I keep talking about it, I think the key to this is just, volume. Obviously, you got to have a bunch of the teams if you really want to have a chance at this tournament, I think. And just the more teams you can get to, say, week 3 or 4, where you really start getting into the, obviously it starts head-to-head week 2. But I'm saying let's say get out of the first, 6 of 12 week, win your first head-to-head going into week 3. The more teams you can get into week 3, that's when it'll start getting a lot of fun. And so my question is, would you spend a 16th round pick on a team like this where you feel like you're strong at quarterback, you're strong at tight end, and you're strong at running back, but after your first 2 wide receivers and maybe Jennings, you're kind of, weak and just trying to piece the back end of the whole rest of your wide receivers together with volume? Would you spend the pick that I spent on Lockett if you knew for sure he was going to give you a really good week 1 score and be one of the main reasons that you helped get out of the initial pod? Oh, we got to take our boy Giddens here. He'll be our 6th running back. We are going to go with 6 and 8 wide receivers. But would you take Lockett at that pick if you could be assured that he was going to give you, say, 18 points week 1 and help get you out of the pod, but then the rest of the year he wasn't going to probably hit your lineup much, if any? I'm just trying to piece together that wide receiver room. We took Brown because he could be pretty usable while Rice is out. We like Thielen. Talked about it earlier. Jennings may be the only healthy wide receiver on the 49ers. And maybe, I'm not a big fan of him, but maybe in case the Io Manor guy ends up overtaking Lockett, let's just double him up, right? A handcuff wide receiver number 2 with my last 2 wide receiver picks. Maybe Lockett helps us get out the first round. Maybe even helps us in like week 3 or something. But slowly but surely, the rookie kind of takes the job over from him. And then he becomes the usable player. It could happen. Sounds good. 2682. Jaden and Cameron Ward. JT, Hampton, Warren, Dobbins, Roshan, and Giddens in the running back room. Plenty of depth, plenty of firepower up top. Nico, Zay Flowers, Jennings, Hollywood, Thielen, Pat Bryant, Lockett, and Io Manor. Think we can be good enough at wide receiver, hopefully. with Andrews and Warren, the tight end room is plenty enough. What's up, Fantasy Dog? Good to see you stopping by, my friend. Whole bunch of people just hopped in. What's up, Green Bean? What's up, Gerard? Same here. Third often. What did we miss? We must have missed a whole lot of stuff here. Thank you for hitting the like, by the way, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate that. If you didn't, hit the like. Are you drafting Shook? I feel like I'm the only one. You know what? It was just a couple nights ago. Who Hames, if you're still around real quick, I'll go ahead and do one more eliminator. Why not? 4 drafts tonight. If you haven't, hit the like for me. I'm going to jump in it right at 12:02 on the dot if anybody wants to hop in this eliminator with me. We'll knock this one out. Tomorrow night I'll be with Hartman and Candyman on Hartman's channel, so it may be 2 nights in a row before I'm back live on my channel. Sounds like a good night for a 4th draft. I'll get back to the Shook question in just a minute. I'm waiting on the 12:02 mark. But I talked about it a couple nights ago, and it's like I started the year off. One of my very first live streams I ever did, I had like a 5-minute little deep dive on Tyler Shook at the beginning of it. We just entered it, 3 spots left. Insta field, so I'm sure we got some friends up in here. But I started off the year pretty in on Shook, but I was also then drafting on DraftKings, where I think quarterbacks don't matter as much. And so I was drafting a whole lot more of 3 quarterbacks later type teams, and I was drafting him a lot over there. Since I moved over here to Underdog and became an official Underdog bro, I think that I just think quarterbacks matter a lot more. Oh, yeah, we got a whole bunch of friends in here. Green Beans at the 1. Who Hames is at the 8. I'm in the 12 spot. Fantasy Dog is sitting in the 3 spot. The good news, boys, is 6 of us can move out of this sucker and get into the head-to-head weeks. But the Saints aren't going to be good, right? They were one of the teams at the beginning of my stream tonight. I called out the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8 teams whose passing games from here on out, after research that I've been doing the last couple weeks, I just really want to stay away from their running backs in general and target the crap out of their passing games, because they all have the combination of bottom 12 defenses with bottom 12 O lines. That is a recipe for having to play from behind a lot. And the last time I checked, garbage time points when you're trailing a lot and just throwing the ball, trying to catch up, count also. And the Raiders are one of those teams. I like Shaheed. I really like Shaheed as a spike week guy. I think Olave is underpriced still. And so, yeah, like Tyler Shook is definitely a guy that I want to start taking a little more of. The Saints don't have any reason whatsoever to run with Rattler, even from the start. I think now that I think about it, it was actually the night Who Hames was on here, Monday night, that me and him was talking about that. They don't have any reason, right? They just got a new coach. Their team's not going to be that good. Their team, and Who Hames pointed out how their team is in cap hell, essentially. And like, why would they have a reason to go with Rattler, who they already kind of know what he is? Why not put Shook in there and see what you have in him? Absolute worst case, I think we want to go Achan. Do we want to go BTJ or Nico? When in doubt, take Nico. And so, yeah, I want to purposely, on teams where I don't have an elite QB, I do want to start targeting Shook some as a 3rd quarterback on a 3 quarterback build. preferably, stacked with maybe an Olave or maybe a Shaheed. Maybe it's throw Johnson on there as my last tight end or something. The problem is I'm also really into like Jaden Daniels. Lamar is one of my favorite my guys. And so I haven't really been building a whole lot of 3 QB teams like that. I'm a 2 QB guy myself. Whenever I have Jaden or Lamar or Josh, I typically get a second QB that I feel good about, and that's what we roll with. Who Hames has apparently 22% shuck in his 36 drafter $3 minis. Well, I go by my time, best ball on call. Good to see you up late. Kind of been missing your little lunchtime streams. That's a kind of dead time of the air. If you guys don't know who Hames, of course y'all know him. He streams best ball on call. I think it's kind of periodic, but feel free to put your times in the chat. Another good ball knower. I'm Central Time, so I don't know. Some people tell me that I should advertise my streams from East Coast time. I just go with my time. Y'all can figure it out. When I post it on Twitter, I always put that it's Central Time. Do the math. Everything else, TV show wise and football game wise, I got to go off of East Coast time. I'm going off my time. Winston to the Saints, I hope. Tell them who Hames. East Coast bias is whack. Green Bean went Bijan at the 101. Ladd and Omarion Hampton in the third. We are going to have to get ready to learn a whole lot of early third Hampton probably before it's all said and done with. There was some really good entertainment out there today. If any of y'all by chance missed PPR Tyler on Pete's randomizer, that stuff was hilarious today. It was pretty entertaining and definitely worth going back and giving it a watch, I think. See what we want to do here at the next turn. I have an idea of what I want to do. We'll see if it can work out for us or not. Kind of depends what attack Rabbit and C Money does. Rabbit took the guy I really wanted, Daniels. I think we're just going to double tap running back here and go with Brees and Cook. Nothing wrong with having 3 dudes powering your running back room in an eliminator with Achane, Hall, and Cook. Some of y'all know how big I am on Lamar, so I'll repeat it again since I know a bunch of you guys just jumped in recently. I think for the eliminator, the last few weeks I've been doing a lot of schedule work, on the early season stuff. We don't ever pay attention in general to early season schedule, but since we're getting to that time of year where between now and the end of the best ball season, I want to get as many eliminators as I can time-wise draft. I want to end up with at least 100 or more. And so for the eliminator, as much as I've been on Lamar in regular style tournaments, I actually prefer Jaden for the eliminator based on their first 4 week schedule. I just think he has some super, super nice games. Yeah, he definitely put on a show. It was fun. Barkley, Jacobs, and Kyron and J-Mo. Pretty much, huh? Just flip flopped. I took a receiver, 3 running backs. You took 3 running backs in the receiver. But nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I've never done the BR contest, which is one thing I look forward to doing. So, long term plans, I plan on keeping my stream going year round. I think I'm gonna, there's a couple ideas I have for things during the season. One of which being doing some BR drafts. I used to play a lot of DFS on DraftKings and just not really into it like I used to be. So maybe I'll check out the BR drafts. But a lot of people have told me that it is more times than not the winning lineups have a running back in the flex. So if we play BR drafts with the same scoring system that we do for best ball on underdog, then it kind of naturally feels like having a running back that's really good that can hit your flex as your third running back. Potentially a pretty good idea, I think. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Not really leaving me a whole lot of goodness. We're hitting that point where all of the value or some of the top guys on the board are running backs. We might just have to reach down. He has 3 receivers. We might be able to. No, he took Flowers. I really was going to go Flowers there. Let's go Olave and Jennings. 3 and 3. Achane, Hall, Cook, Nico, Olave, and Jennings in the wide receiver room. We had Nico and Jennings on the last team also, but we did not have Achane, Hall, or Cook. What's up, Lawsimo? Good to see you stop by. We're putting in overtime tonight. It's a 4th draft for you guys. I didn't get a chance to catch your stream today, Who Hames. How did your I saw you were streaming you did another one of those banana drafts, didn't you? How did that go? Did you like your team today? I'll have to try to go back and watch it in the morning if there's some dead time. Wednesday evening and late afternoons are kind of busy for me. Okay. First one wasn't good, but second one was fire. Nice. I'll try to go back and watch it. It was an interesting contest. I did the one the other day. Baltimore QB fell to round 7. Oh, that's super sweet. There's a couple things about that contest that worry me and will keep me from probably doing a lot of them. One, I just feel like, especially the way it's tied so much to crypto, right? It's like, yes, in general, Ethereum will probably go up. So even if you win, like, in Ethereum, say, is in a crash, you can just like hold, but it's like, what if you wanted to reinvest that money in something else or put that money to work in something else? And if Ethereum's down, you almost kind of feel like it'd be pointless to cash out. I don't know. It was a fun contest though. And then there's just the whole, like, I don't know, like, somebody who knows more about crypto than me, because I don't know a lot about crypto, brought up a good point that, like, it could be, an easy way for somebody to, like, scam you, like, hack into your wallet or something like that, potentially, even maybe. I don't know. The dudes that run it, or at least the one that I've talked to some through DMs and stuff like that, he does seem like a pretty good dude, but I'm not saying anything bad about him. I just don't know if it's a contest I want to put a lot of my money into. But it was fun, that's for sure. Let's see, we need to get to work. We are on the clock. All right, we can just go Hawkinson again with one of them. Make that simple. Probably need receiver here. I'm gonna let that clock run out though, because I do want to kind of think about this a minute. Yeah, let's go golden, I think. You know what? Let's go with Buka. Godwin might not be out there early, right? He has a little bit later bye week than the week 5. I think I like that better. Need to start figuring out what we want to do at quarterback too. Got some decent options we can play with later. One of the things about going like Fantasy Dog and I did with 3 running backs in the first 4 picks is it really frees you up to just not worry about running back for a while. I mean, sure, we want some more eventually, but like he added Browns tight end with Raiders. Seems like a perfect combo. And Njoku has a nice ceiling. Yeah, that's true. I'd agree with that. Their prospect that they drafted too, is a pretty good tight end prospect. So in a format like that where you're just getting whatever tight end has the better game, that is the one good thing about that contest is, it does protect you from the injuries that happen in best ball, a lot. Case in point, if we draft Njoku here and Njoku tears his knee up, well, those Njoku shares are dead. Whereas in a contest like that, you get to then just have Fannin probably hitting your lineup. Green Bean went with Baker. Fantasy Dog took Shaheed. What's Huhaim's been up to over there? Genty and Taylor, Mike Evans, Devontae, and Metcalf came back with Swift and Jones, and then Golden. And Drake May. We were going to take Purdy there if he was there. But he went. I think we're probably going to go Caleb even though he has the early-ish bye. Caleb and whatever. We'll take Cooper Cup. That is the one way that I've kind of been, I guess, a little bit hedging my zero Sam Darnold in case I'm wrong and he plays halfway decent. I don't take JSN because he's too expensive for how I think Darnold will play. But when Cup falls a little bit past ADP, I don't mind tacking him on to some teams. Caleb is our QB1. This team, I think, is going to end up being different than the other ones that we built. I think this team, we probably will grab another tight end at some point and just stick with 2 tight ends. I really try to stay away from double threes at the onesies. I try to stay away from 3 quarterback, 3 tight end builds myself. I just feel like, it kind of handcuffs you at one of the other positions unless you go with just a really balanced 3-6-6-3 type build. Then it can work. Which this one may be that type of team, honestly, with those 3 running backs. I'm looking pretty good at receivers so far. I don't know. I'm not going to rule it out. If we did, it would just be a 17th and 18th round tight end. Tack 2 of them on with Hawkinson. We'll see. Kind of depends how the next couple rounds play out, though, too. I personally think if you don't get an elite, you should go 3-5-7-3. You're talking about an elite quarterback? I agree. That's what I was just saying, that I think I'm going to go. This is the type of team that I definitely would have 3 quarterbacks on. Sometimes I'll still do 2 tight ends with like a Hawkinson because I think of him pretty highly. It depends. If I hit a point where I don't like any of the picks on the board and I probably coming up soon and I have Hawkinson with, say, like a Loveland or a Ferguson, those would be the 2 that, like, then I probably would think about maybe leaving it at just 2. But honestly, I'm thinking because of other stuff that I want to try to maybe do, that it probably will be a better team to have 3 tight ends and 3 potential quarterbacks on. We'll see. Let's see. They have Jaden and Hurts in front of me. To 5. I think we want to go ahead and take Thielen and Stroud here. I thought about doing Loveland. Well, actually, Loveland was gone. Never mind. I didn't realize he went. Where did Loveland go? So he was there a minute ago. Huhames grabbed him. Well, good. I couldn't have done it anyways. I didn't realize Huhames grabbed Loveland, and I was thinking about doing Loveland in place of Thielen. But I just felt like I also think Thielen is one of the better clicks on the board. I would be okay with these 6 receivers. I don't really have any bye week issues other than week 14. Nico, Olave, Jennings, Ibuka, Cup, and Thielen. If I did end up wanting to go like with a 6th running back over a 7th receiver, if it comes to that, I would be okay with them, I think. A lot of it just depends on player too, right? Like it'll probably be just knowing how these next few rounds are probably going to play out. I'm thinking it'll probably be like rounds, that 16th round pick where I'm making that decision, or let's say the 15-16 turn where I'm making that decision between if I want a quarterback or running back. Being on the very right side of the board, I probably will just grab 2 tight ends to pair with Hawkinson, because you can always get 2 serviceable tight ends from like the 11 and 12 spot. I want to watch the quarterbacks because we need one more quarterback still. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Probably need to get back in the running back room here. Maybe we could go ahead and get 1 tight end. Are there any quarterbacks that really interest us a lot? Not really right there. Not sure what we want to quite do here. Maybe we could just keep it at 5 running backs. I still don't hate Jaden Blue. I think I'm going to go Jaden Blue and Tillman. Go ahead and take one more receiver. We'll hope that we can hold it down with 5 running backs. We have the 3 up top. As long as they're healthy, they're going to power the team anyways. Jaden Blue could end up being a pretty usable player. We'll see how the Cowboys running back situation shakes out over the next couple weeks. I cannot do it, sir. I cannot do it. I'm hard-headed. You'll learn that about me. Sometimes I can be hard-headed, even when it's probably better that I not be. And I just think that, like, I don't know, there's just so much going against him. I know he played well last year. I know that. He also, again, played in a dome with the coach that I'm super high on, who also did damn near the same thing with Josh Dobbs, of all people, for a short stint of time, and not as good as Darnold. I mean, they say he saw ghost or whatever, but he kind of, even with O'Connell, turned back to the, man, that's Sam Darnold at the end of the year. And now he's going to a team that's outdoors, a team that has a really bad defense instead of one of the top defenses in the league. Say what you want about Cup and JSN. They're not JJ. Also had Addison there. Also had a probably a better offensive line last year. I know their offensive line is even better this year, but the Vikings offensive line last year was better than what the Seahawks offensive line I think will be this year. I just can't do it, man. I can't take Sam Darnold. I would rather take Jaden Blue and Tillman. We need one more running back. This is a really good team. Maybe to throw Shipley on. I don't know if he'll make it all the way back to me. So we're just going to go ahead actually with these picks. We'll take Tyler Shuck and we'll go ahead and take Johnson as our third tight end. I like that better than Sam Darnold. We were just talking about him before this draft. We'll take Shuck. We already had Olave. We'll take Johnson and double them up. Team I talked about that's going to be losing a lot. I don't see any reason why they won't start Shuck. We'll grab one more running back and tight end whenever it comes around for that 17-18 turn and call it a night. Darnold himself said he's seeing ghosts. Sleeps with a nightlight on. I actually have a Sam Darnold Panthers jersey that's autographed. That would be a really good bet we could make one day, Mark. I don't know what we would bet it on, but I'm sure we could have some fun with if I lose, I have to wear your Sam Darnold signed jersey on stream. I would want to feel pretty damn good about the bet before I made it, but it might be fun. This one's getting about done, boys. Banged out some drafts tonight. We did a sprint. We actually got it to Phil. This is our third eliminator after that. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up for y'all. Come hang out with me and Candyman and Hartman tomorrow night on Hartman's channel. I think it's going to be about 9 o'clock Central Time. Who Hames and Hartman will be on my channel next Monday night. We'll be hanging out, discussing all of the news, drafting some teams together. That should be pretty fun. I'm going to do some pop-up daytime drafts next week too. Well, not pop-up. I'll probably advertise them at least an hour or so in advance. Give you guys a little heads up. Look out for that though. Let's see, running backs. I think we want to go with Brashard Smith. And for our last pick, we will take Jatavion Sanders from the Panthers. That is the team. We did go with the 3-5-7-3. Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, and Tyler Shook at quarterback. Achane, Breece Hall, Cook, Jaden Blue, and Brashard Smith at running back. Nico, Olave, Jennings, Ibuka, Kupp, Thielen, and Tillman at wide receiver, with Hockenson, Jonnu Johnson, and Jatavion Sanders in the tight end room. I like the team. I think it's a pretty good team. It could do some stuff. I don't want your Sam Darnold signed jersey as a gift. Get out of here. You're welcome, dog. Good to see you stopping by. I'm glad you think so. We just try to have fun. This is my outlet, guys. Like, I have 3 daughters, all pretty close in age. One's going into 6th grade. The other one's going into 8th grade. The other one is going into high school. She will be a freshman. The middle daughter is very, very difficult. She has a lot of mental health things that she can't control, conditions she was born with. It's a long story. We won't bore you with all that. But let's just say she can make life very, very rough and difficult. My dog knocked over my shade back there. That's why the light got really bright all of a sudden. But this is kind of my outlet. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I like to just get on here and talk to people. That's why we bring a lot of guests on. Kind of the relief from my stressful, busy days. I'm going to sit here and draft best ball all summer anyways. Sometimes it does, about this time of year or especially late August, before I started streaming, you hit that point where it's like, man, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 hours all night, every day. It just kind of, I'm not going to say it gets boring, but it just, you kind of hit that little lull or whatever. So I figured this could be a way to make it fun, right? And so far I'm enjoying it a lot more than what I thought I would. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So like we said earlier, spread the word. Tell your boys about the nightcap. Come hang out with us. Glad y'all enjoy it though. We're going to get out of here and call it a night. We love you too, Fantasy Dog. As always, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.
But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.